Well, welcome back to the GSTL. We are going to have a quick coach interview, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what these guys have to say. Sure you are as well. welcome back, our toasts as well. What's up? Let's see what they have to say. I want to see. I mean, I love sometimes the insights that they give. Sometimes they have to give the insights so carefully because they don't want to reveal anything. But for example, yesterday we saw some really good words from both coaches.
성공으로 기용하시는 무슨 특별한 이유가 있는 건가요?
네, 킹덤이란 맵을 우선 박영호 선수가 자신 있어 했고요.
네.
GSTL에서 테란 성적이 승률이 별로 안 좋아요.
When the map was chosen as Cloud Kingdom, Sculpt said he was really confident on that map, and that's why we chose him as the first player.
자, 그리고
Even though it's the first time he's playing in
1세트에서 아쉽게 패하긴 했는데 하지만 큰 걱정은 안 하시리라 또 믿습니다. 2세트에 유충희 선수가 나왔어요. 신예인 유충희 선수를 내보낸 특별한 이유가 있나요?
지금 아무래도 그 저그들이 분위기가 너무 좋고 앞으로는 라운드가 올라갈수록 저그 기용도가 높아질 텐데 지금부터 해서 그 방송도 적응을 좀 시키고 싶고 그리고 안 그래도 유충희 선수가 지금 저희 팀에서 가장 분위기가 좋은 선수라서 기용하게 됐습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 두 팀이 지난 시즌 두 번이나 만났었습니다. 하지만 결과가 모두 StarTaleQ 이겼었죠. 자, 이번 시즌에는 또 어떠리라 예상하시는지 들어보도록 하겠습니다. 이번 시즌 어떻게 될 것 같습니다.
지금 첫 경기 져가지고 좀 불안하긴 한데 그래도 저희가 이길 거는 같습니다.
알겠습니다. 박용식 감독님 어떻게 생각하세요?
네, 비록 한 경기는 이겼지만 아직 쟁쟁한 선수들이 많기 때문에 방심하지 않고 해야
흥미진진한 경기가 이어질 것 같습니다. 자, 5주간 펼쳐지는 2라운드만 넘으면 이제 4강이죠.
Even though NSHosa is up 1-0, StarTale has a very strong lineup, so we're not going to be overconfident here.
일단 그 저번 시즌에 아쉽게 준우승으로 그쳐서 조금 아쉽긴 한데 이번 시즌에 이제 선수들도 많이 준비가 돼 있고 해서 그 4강이 목표가 아니고 우승하는 게 목표라서 4강은 당연히 갈 것 같습니다.
알겠습니다. 박영식 감독님은요?
네, 지금 저희 팀이랑 같이 하고 있는 스타테일 팀이랑
Even though they got second last season, they've been practicing very, very hard and think that they can win this season.
결승에서 한번 해보고 싶고요.
Most teams will say that, but they always were the runner-up.
네, 멋진 승부 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 저는 잠시 후 승리팀 인터뷰로 다시
What do you think
찾아오도록
about
하겠습니다.
the tie of the NSHosa coach? It's orange. It's got those
It works for
stripes.
him.
I really like it. Like whenever I see him, I already if I only see his head, I already imagine the tie being there, and I see him walk around the corner. I'm like, wow, that is a nice.
He does dress professionally, doesn't he?
He really does.
Yeah. No, it looks good on him.
Yeah, it really
I don't know that every coach could pull that off. Like, the team owner of StarTale, that tie wouldn't look good on him.
No, not quite. No, I don't think so.
No, that wouldn't. If he was wearing that tie, I'd be like, guys, I don't know. I don't know if StarTale can do it today with him wearing that tie.
Even though the tie of NSHosa ironically kind of represents the colors of StarTale a little bit more, maybe there's some symbolism there. That would be interesting.
He's going to rip the tie off at the end. He's like trying to rip it off, but actually chokes himself because it's tied around his neck.
Yeah, that's how
ties work. You didn't think that one out, did you?
He didn't.
No.
Well, we didn't talk too much about the player choice, but basically my thought is basically the same as the coach. Okay, this guy needs a little bit more experience. This guy could be like Seal. He could be he's a B-teamer right now.
Yeah.
Essentially, he's not in the GSL individual league. He may prove himself. He may show that he's got some of the best creeps in the world. Like Creep, he may show a style that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that's hard to study against. But even so, I mean, Sculpt probably didn't expect to. I mean, he said he expected to beat Squirtle, but let's be honest, he probably didn't expect to play against King Kong. He wasn't prepared for this. So just throwing him in here right away is kind of jarring for NSHosa to deal with.
Sure. I think it's a great choice, though, because, we do see King Kong pop up in online tournaments a lot, doing well. And they need to use, as he said, Zergs are doing well this season. They're going to need to use both Curious and another Zerg. July Zerg isn't even here today, so this is a great choice to use against Sculpt. You don't want to throw in another Protoss for sure.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. Let's see if King Kong can do it. Let's see if he can tie up the series 1-1. This is the GSTL with Wolf and Artosis.
That was good.
That's the song I was telling you about, man.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really
I never
good.
really pay attention when the songs are going on at home.
You got to do it. All right, at the top right, our StarTale player. Can he tie things up? His ideas.
Starting King Kong.
Not used to doing intros. There he is. Down at the bottom left, Blue Terran. He's up 1-0. Can he make it a streak?
And this also Sculper.
There he is.
Yep, Sculpt being a badass so far. All right, Wolf, what type of style do you think we're going to see here?
Well, let me tell you about the Terran versus Zerg style. At this point, I think it would be safe to assume if he doesn't go Command Center first, he's going to 1-Rax expand into double gas, into Reactor Hellions that won't do that much, but will give him a little bit of map control. Then, after that, he's going to go into a fast third Command Center, possibly with Banshees, if Banshees, maybe Cloak, depending on what he's seeing. I think that if I had to bet, that's what I would bet on, and that is a pretty cool photo. StarTale fan there. But as for Zerg, we'll probably see a 4-Queen build. That seems really popular. Nesty has kind of pushed the 6-Queen build out there a little bit. May see that as well. He's going for a really fast hatch, 14 in fact.
You know, pretty fair, everything you said there. We do have a Macarax going on by Sculpt.
Yeah, he's probably just doing that to kill the Overlord if it gets hidden over that location just near the natural. It's also going to scare the Zerg a little bit.
Yeah, of course. You're going to think, whoa, is there a proxy, somewhere? And in fact, already, without even seeing where the Rax is at or looking if it's in the main, Sculpt went right into pool after the hatch. He did not drone at all after that, and that's sometimes uncommon to see. You know, you can actually, if you go for the hatch first, and they're not proxying, and you're checking for it with the drone, oftentimes you're going to want to make another drone or two before that pool. So, just playing really safe here is King Kong.
Yeah, he's not cutting any corners at all. You know, what's interesting to me is he did not check behind the minerals for the Brax, though.
Yeah, he didn't check much anywhere for the Rax. I'm actually surprised he even scouted, because what info did he get before turning around?
I mean, he basically saw there was no barracks and no gas.
Yeah, and that could mean all sorts of things, man. So, kind of an interesting choice there by King Kong. But let's go back and talk a little bit about the different Queen styles that we can see coming out, and this map in particular. You mentioned the 4-Queen style. I love that style.
I think 6 Queens is not necessary.
Really?
On a map like this. You can do the 6-Queen style. I think 6 Queens is better on a larger map. This map is pretty big, but with the way that you spread creep on this map, you don't need 6 Queens because you basically are spreading it in 2 directions, and one direction is much more important than the other one. It's the one towards your third base that you're going to take. So, depending on which way you want to go with that, obviously most people are going to take the third on the right side. They're not going to try to take that center third because, against an aggressive Terran, it's going to be tough. We see a fast third Command Center coming down with no gases taken by Sculpt. This is very much against the grind. He's taking the gases now, but he fligs that Command Center really, really fast. So, yeah, probably still he's going to go for Reactor Hellions.
Probably.
But,
I mean, you got to go to that factory anyways.
These Marines are actually caught in the middle of the map. This is unfortunate for Sculpt.
You know, I want to go back to what we were talking about before with the different amounts of Queens and the different styles. I'm actually kind of a fan of, going up to about 6 Queens right now. 4-Queen is really cool and all, but there's some builds popping out that are a little bit scary even for 4-Queen builds. And one of them, for instance, the double Banshee with Hellions and also a Raven coming out. That's getting more popular. We're seeing that pop up here and there.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we did see, I don't know if you watched this part of MLG, where Puma was ripping through all the brackets with a very heavy Banshee Hellion style.
Yeah.
It was actually very hard to hold. And I feel like the 6 Queen is going to shut all of that down. And it's going to get you sick creep spread. And we can see that crazy, the controlling the map with 4 Queens in the middle. I think you were casting that on Cloud Kingdom. God, was that cool, man.
It's pretty
map
cool.
Control with Queens. Forget Hellions, man. The Queens are walking around the map, stopping, scouting. What? It's awesome.
It is pretty cool. You know, I definitely like the 6-Queen build. Even so, despite the fact
Have I converted you, or are you still...
Well, let's talk about the disadvantages of 6-Queen. That's 300 extra minerals you have to spend faster. Right now, he would, in fact, be continuing to make those Queens.
That's true.
Delays your gas a little bit. So it means you have to have a little bit later of a lair. You might fall pressure if someone hides some barracks and goes for a big marine attack with Stim, you know, potentially, or a fast tank push. Something like that that's very rarely seen anymore, but something like that could give you problems. You have to get your Baneling Nest up just in time.
You know, to be fair, to counter that, a counter argument is with 6 queens, you actually start getting so many transfuses that instead of a Baneling Nest and using your gas or something like that early on, you can oftentimes just transfuse Spine Crawlers.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know. I'm pretty much a fan of it. We'll see how it goes with the metagame. You know, it's still going to take another month or so to really know which one is going to be the superior build.
Yeah, and he's going up to 5 queens right now.
I like it.
So he could potentially even make a 6. But he's got the 2 queens very much so focused on spreading the creep towards the middle. He knows that spreading the creep to the side, he's going to have it connecting his third base. Now this Overlord will scout everything, but I always joke when I cast this matchup, he already knew it was going to be there. He knew it was going to be Banshees and Hellions with a 3rd Command Center in some form. These Hellions actually are going to sneak by into the natural. Will not likely get very many kills, but they will get a few, and this is something that is very rare. In fact, he's gotten several already.
Yeah, that's actually really impressive. 5 kills with those 2. More than I thought were going to happen, but basically his map control is going to be gone at this point. You know, there's so many queens out, 5 queens at this point, and even though he killed those, he's not going to get the Hellion numbers that he needs to actually run around and do anything. In fact, he only has 2 more. He stopped right there at 4.
What is your opinion? Do you feel that he did this because he knew that with the amount of queens his opponent has made, he wasn't going to be able to use his Hellions for much else, so he said, well, I spent the money on them. I can't really control the map with them anymore, so I'm going to do this. Because right now you can see these 2 Hellions right here, kind of flimsy, useless. What can he really do with them except threaten to kill drones?
You know, if that was the reason of the choice, I'm a huge fan.
I think it was, man. And he's actually just going to go in here and do this again. And again, King Kong is not prepared. He's not split his drones well. That was huge.
Yeah, he's just killed 9. And look at this. He's already killed 11 now.
This is crazy.
Oh, my God.
I cannot believe this is one of the worst drone defenses I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is not going well at all. I mean, he's made a total of 4 aliens, sent them in batches of 2, and I can't even believe it. I mean, so much damage was dealt with like a half-hearted Hellion runs.
Yeah, and, you know, I feel like it wasn't well done. It was just poorly defended. He's got 11 creep tumors at the time going. I mean, 11 active tumors. That means he's very much so focusing his queens on spraying that creep, but having 1 queen to defend Hellions is important. Also, splitting your drones, pulling them a little bit better than that is also important. That's something, I mean, against 2 Hellions, you should never lose that many workers. Either way, he's got a Spire on the way now. 1-1 is finishing up. He's a little bit behind Sculpt and upgrades. Banshee is coming out just to be a little bit aggressive. He's not really committing too much to Banshees, of course. Very rarely is that seen when you go for that fast 3rd Command Center before the starport. He's already started medevac production. He's going into a very marine tank, normal, completely standard mid-game composition here.
That's right. And, you know, one thing I would love to see out of him, he does have an extra tech lab sitting around near his starport. With this much creep, I don't think he really can use enough scans to kill it all. I would love to see that Raven pop out at some point. But we'll see if he does that. Now, in the meantime, King Kong is actually going for his 4th base, and his creep spread is immaculate. I really like the position he's in right now. And this little army we have walking around the map?
Yeah, it's dangerous to be walking around with that. If he gets caught by Lings, could be bad. Oh, this Baneling run by is really weird, but I mean, it's going to be effective, it looks like. Well, you know, the pull there was... That actually could have been potentially so much worse. That was a much better defense than the Hellion defense that we saw earlier. And at this point, this army, there's not enough Zerlings to actually kill it just yet. Nice micro coming in the corner. Now he's got enough units over here, but he can just lift up and get out.
That's right, but 8 meters on the way. He has to get home with these. If he loses these 2, he's in a lot of trouble.
I'm not sure why he dropped here.
Yeah, Sculpt not going to be able to do anything with this.
He's not going to be able to save them either.
Does he think this is going to be Infestor play? Because he's still over here, and we have 8 mutas about to pop.
Well, he made a ton of turrets already, so I feel like he was preparing for the eventuality of mutas, but it's as if he's not sure where they're going to be, or he wants to buy more time with these units. I'm not sure what his plan is with these drops exactly, but King Kong is not actually going to take these units out. He's sending his mutas across the map, but he's actually just going to donate them for free here. He is actually totally blindly dropping these medevacs. It's a little bit embarrassing, kind of, you know?
Well, he's not really doing much with them. They will go down. The supplies are pretty even, but in fact, our Terran player is ahead with that super quick 3rd command center and some great macro to back it up.
And he's distracting the Zerg while he clears up some creep. And he's well, if he doesn't see his Banelings, this could be terrible. He sees him now.
Speed is done and does not choose to go down. There's only 1 siege tank, but he has no Lings there with it, so he's going to be careful. Oh,
some hesitation from King Kong there for sure. Losing a lot of banelings for free. A big risk to actually try to go down like that.
You know,
the Mutalisk count's not where it needs to be to force the Terran back at this point.
Yeah, he's only got 8, and he's going in Infestation Pit, so we'll see if he actually stays heavily on Muta or not. Now, one thing I want to point out, though, is that our Terran player is actually splitting up his armies quite a bit. I feel like if King Kong just macroed up one army and just started crushing these pieces, he'd be in much better shape.
And he's not, though. He's hesitating a lot. It seems like he's very uncomfortable as to how to approach this. It looks like he will clean up this first army, but the second wave is going to be so difficult for him, and I feel like he's not prepared. The Zerlings, there are not enough of them.
That's right. These are like little tiny groups that he's attacking around with. His production is getting pretty good, but really where he doesn't have hardly any larvae and a ton of minerals. He doesn't have enough hatches. He hasn't hit enough larva injects. And he had so many Queen's Wolf, a beautiful opening, but just kind of falling apart here in the late mid-game.
Yeah, he has nearly 100 drones at 96 drones, and with that, it's like, I mean, he's got a great economy. If he could use it to produce units, it would be great. He's going to lose a Queen here, and he's just sitting small groups of Marines forward. I really like how careful Sculp is being with these engagements. He's making it very uncomfortable for King Kong. He's like, well, do I run all my banelings in? No. He's like trying to decide whether or not to do it because there's such small groups of Marines. He knows there's a ton behind that. This hatchery will go down, and King Kong is starting to really lose out here. If he doesn't make something happen soon against these armies, he is definitely going to lose this game.
Yeah, he has literally no larva right now. You know, this is, I think Sculp actually should not have been quite attacking like this, because with 2K in the bank, he could have had enough Lings to kill this all with just Lings if he had macroed well. I mean, he got an insane economy and insane creep spread, but the larva injects, the hatchery counts just weren't there to back it up. And even now, he is starting to push it back and may end up killing the army, but he's already lost that base and crucial units.
Yeah, he's going for killing these reinforcements. I love that because that's the only army he's going to basically be able to know he can kill, but that still doesn't answer the main army that's still at the bottom of the map. And oh, this is a terrible engagement. I can't believe he's attacking him like that.
Oh, man.
That was so cost inefficient.
You know, King Kong definitely needs some more experience here. I know this cannot be the way that he looks when he plays, you know, his online tournaments, his practice games, because he's been very soft. He's been falling apart. His macro is off.
Nerves.
Sculp is he's just plowing through him. This was, as I was talking with Tasteless yesterday, this is what we call getting bombed.
Yes.
He made units, he attacked, and King Kong fell apart.
This is nerves, you know, showing through.
I would
quite
say
heavily.
so, yeah.
And this is exactly why he's been chosen to play today. I mean, there's a reason for this. Now, 3-3 is about to finish up for Sculp, and that is going to be the nail in the coffin. It's going to be 3-3 against 2-2 with this many Marines. Hive is on the way. He's desperately trying to get pathogen glands out as well. And, I mean, he's 70 supply down.
Yeah.
How can he really salvage something here?
He can't. He can't. I mean, Sculp has outplayed him this game for certain. And King Kong, I mean, we saw such beautiful fundamentals early on, but never one strong engagement. The larva count was actually so unbelievably low this entire game. I mean, I'm looking at some of these queens, and they are near 200 energy. You know, he has not been hitting his injects. He maybe didn't time out his macro hatches right. I wasn't really paying super close attention to that, but here we go. He's doing a little counterattack.
Yeah, this is going to kill all the SCVs at the third base, but there is a fourth base backing it up. This is a small victory for King Kong, but I don't feel to be enough to turn the tides.
No,
he's gonna lose his hatchery. He's already lost one over here. He's got nothing left.
He's got his natural mining and a group of banelings rolling around on creep being indecisive. I mean, that's about what's going on here, man. It is just about time for King Kong to GG.
Yeah, he forces a cancel on that hatchery. The hatchery at the bottom right did finish, but there's no way drones are gonna sneak over there without dying. There's no escape path for King Kong. I think at this point he's trying to accept reality. You know, he knew he was nervous. His coach knew he might be nervous, and he probably tried to tell himself, no, I'm going to be fine here, but in the end, he knows he was nervous and that he messed things up for his team. And now Sculp takes an early 2-0 lead.
Yeah. I mean, King Kong obviously hasn't left yet, but there's nothing left for him here. Over 100 supply ahead is our Terran player on 4 bases against +1 mining.
There's a +1 advantage over the ground units, and even the siege tanks have +1 now. 11 Marines at a time being made. He's replacing them instantly, keeping his money low.
right? And King Kong's still not out of money. Just now going down to no minerals.
Yeah, I mean, units lost. It's actually like crazy. 10,000 more resources lost for as a player.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I've never seen a units lost tab like that, actually.
No, I don't look at it much, but I haven't either. And we should be seeing GG now.
GG!
All right, so I do want to say a few things about this, though. I mean, King Kong, the way he opened that was actually fantastic. He was in a great spot before any aggression started. Like, he got an insane economy going despite losing 14 drones to 4 Hellions coming in 2x2.
Yeah.
Okay? Normally the Hellions do not go marching in 2x2.
No, they never do.
They don't normally do that, okay? You normally are harassing more heavily. You run in with 4 or something so that you can get maybe 7, 8 drones and get out with a couple of them.
And for that reason, maybe that's why he didn't expect it. Maybe that's how he was like, wait, why would anyone ever just run 2 Hellions in?
I think the whole thing might be nerves, because there is no way that you have a player that you're sending out here that has macro like that.
Yeah.
You know, 2,000 minerals, no larva at all the whole time. And, you know, those attacks we were seeing, let's say that we just give the start, even with the drone losses, we just put DRG in that seat as far as macroing. And he just kills it all with lings. Like all these little attacks Sculp was doing all over the place.
That's what I wanted to
With
mention.
that much creep, like you literally, if you have enough larva, you can just run it over with lings. You're like, well, you have like 1 Siege Shank and 12 Marines and 2 medevacs down here. Okay, and you send a bunch of lings. You're like, you have some over here too. Okay, you send a bunch of lings there.
Yeah,
and then the Terran gets so far behind.
That's not what we normally see. And that's where we saw, you know, small groups of lings running in, but never enough to kill those small Terran armies. The Terran army was just always just barely enough to kill the lings.
Yeah.
And I feel maybe after he lost all those drones the first time, he freaked out, and that's when he got nervous. That's when he started panicking. Then he sent groups of lings that were too small because he was freaking out. Then the second group of Hellions came in, and that's the point where his heart rate is going crazy. You know, he's sitting in that booth. This is one of his first times playing in the GSTL. He's sitting there, and he is just getting super stressed. Then he starts botching everything. He's missing injects. He's actually not attacking correctly. He's being indecisive with his banelings. Everything that he was doing started to fall apart a little bit for him there. And I really think that you're right. Nerves really shine through. They would never send a player out who was missing injects like that normally under any circumstance.
Yeah. No, it's like I kept on checking the unit tab just to see how many larvae there were, and there was just nothing there, man. So we're going to have to see who StarTale sends out. It's going to have to be powerful. I think it's probably going to be Bomber this time. We do see him leaning forward. Oh, no, Curious? Really?
Yeah, Curious is coming out for ZBZ.
I'm actually a little bit impressed here.
Or ZBT, rather. I don't know why it's ZBZ. I'm like saying everything wrong. Another Zerg coming out.
That's weird because I look at their lineup. They don't have any other Zergs here to use.
Nope.
This is their last Zerg. So, I mean,
I thought they might, at this point, send out, for example, Ace to try to shift gears for a second.
Sure. Well, I thought they might go with Bomber just to be like, all right, listen, Bomber actually still has really great macro in TVT. It should be fine. But actually, to be fair, to be perfectly fair, after watching that game, the way that it was played by Sculp and the fact that Atlantis Spaceship is our next map, I have zero doubt that Curious can crush him.
I think so, because, you know, Atlantis Spaceship is a huge map, and this is kind of a cool choice because to put the Zerg out at this point, that means he gets to use Atlantis Spaceship the way he wants it. This team gets to use Atlantis Spaceship for one of their Zergs rather than dealing with Seal, for example.
That makes sense. That makes sense, too. And, you know, Curious isn't going to miss those injects. He's going to, if Sculp plays that same style, take 3 bases real quick, he macroed super well and sent units everywhere. It was like he was trying to be Gumiho, but he wasn't Gumiho.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you do that against Curious, he's going to have so many units with that type of creep spread that he should be able to clean it up. So
Curious has so much experience.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about Curious, I feel, is that in Code A and the up and down matches, he looks so strong. The only place he ever looks weak is in Code S. He always he's gone through the road to Code S so many times, but when he's in Code S, he never gets past that group stage.
Yeah.
And in the Team League, though, he has shined several times. And Sculp may have some problems.
You know what?
You're right. If he plays the same style.
Maybe for Curious, the pleasure is in the travel, not the destination.
Maybe so.
The journey, some might say.
Some might say
he
that.
just likes to get into Code S and be like, yeah, I made it again. What's up? And then he goes to Code A. He's like, all right, I'm going to do it again. Let's do it.
He proves that the journey that very few have been able to actually complete, he has completed so many times.
He's like, it's so easy.
They make an award called the Curious Award for the most times anyone's ever gone from Code A to Code S.
they actually could, man. But him and Keen battling neck and neck for that.
That's a good joke. That's good. I like that one.
Neat. But no, as we were saying before, if the game looks similar from Sculp, I'm feeling Curious, man.
Well, let's find out if he can do it. StarTale will be in dire straits if he does not. It's the GSTL sponsored by Hot 6. I'm Wolf, with me is Tosis. Let's jump into the game.